Okay, let's do this. Yeah. So, it is of great importance for me to stand in a hall full of people. It is a big change in my life considering that I was alone, hidden behind the stage, for reasons I never quite understood. I was always kept away from the society for no reason still. But being at an event that has its own identity, recognized all over the world, is also strange to me because I don't have my own identity complete. You know, I'm not sure I want to find him, but I want to punish him with my existence. I grew up in a society where the word shame was common and clearly aimed at me and my mother. I didn't understand that when I was a child, and I still don't. When my mother was 22, she survived a war rape during the aggression in Bosnia and Herzegovina. A colorful world became a world of darkness, trauma, and pain. And just when she thought it couldn't get worse, she found out she's pregnant. She was carrying a child of a man who raped her. That child was destined to carry the pain of war from the inside. She was carrying a life to grow, to become invisible, both socially and legally. That life is my life. So, hello, my name is Ajna Jusic, and I'm a child born out of war-related sexual abuse. So, do you find it uncomfortable sometimes to look at me? No? Okay. I find it hard sometimes, but it didn't stop me. I don't need this. But it didn't stop me from standing here today before all of you, because I have something to tell you. So, during the war aggression in Bosnia and Herzegovina, between 30 and 50,000 of men, women, and girls were sexually assaulted. As a result of those crimes, children were born. Children who live in the age of the status quo, 30 years after the war, and still remain invisible by the society that doesn't recognize them. They're often called a hidden population because if someone had known about their existence, they would have been exposed to stigmatization and discrimination. They are still exposed to social condemnation, including legal and political rejection. Precisely because of that, our mothers try to hide our father's identity very wisely, which makes it more difficult to map and gather to children born out of rape in certain country. They were never being accepted by the society just because of their drawings that contain two figures, a mother and a daughter, which was unacceptable. People should never be judged according to those figures, especially not by those who never existed in their lives. Many kind of research has been done in conflict and post-conflict countries about consequences of war-related sexual abuse. It is clearly determined that no country has ever established the mechanisms for the protection and rights of the children born as a result of rape. Don't forget, rape is being used as a weapon during the conflict, a weapon that creates, as they are called, children of enemy. After their birth, many children were not even accepted by their mothers because of the amount of trauma they went through during such an act. These children are considered to be a shame to the family. This population is neglected. Their birth and later on, throughout their life, they encounter risks and damages that can be permanent and dangerous. This may include stigmatization and discrimination by society and legal system in which they live, physical violence and emotional abuse during adolescence, peer violence in the schools where these children are targeted as fatherless or abandoned children. This population has reduced or given no education because they have never been entitled to a scholarship like other categories of children have. Many mothers kept their children while struggling with trauma while struggling with trauma without any financial stability and professional psychological help. For children, this represented insecurity while growing up, poverty, and even homelessness. In some countries, the common problem of these abandoned children are in armed or criminal groups, an increased risk of radicalization and poor health. Our mothers are exposed to double stigmatization as survivors of war-related sexual abuse and as our mothers. Without support, women and girls suffer significant physical, psychological, social, and economic effects of forced motherhood. The damage and our shortcomings that our mothers face have been passed on to us, their children, who are themselves labeled as the children born as the consequences of rape. This intergenerational effect of conflict-related sexual violence must be urgently recognized and addressed. In general, lack of specific targeted national and international policies and laws to address our needs, risks, and harms are likely to multiply and become worse in the lives of children. The lost childhood become an insecure adulthood. A human rights become an illusion. You know, I'm not the first one nor the last one who will speak about struggle for rightful and dignified life. I'm proud of myself for being able to gather strength together with my mother and stepfather to bear naked in front of all of you, because in choosing this struggle it wasn't easy. I am proud to have removed the label of invisibility from our existence because I'm not ashamed of my life. This system considers a rape to be a shame, and belonging to ethnic group shows how severe is that act on the human body and life. This is a shame of status quo where we live in today. You know, global and national communities must face the taboos about reproductive violence that lead to forced motherhood, a conception and birth of children as consequences of war. The existence of children born out of sexual violence and high-yielding consequences of pregnancy and motherhood resulting from rape must not remain euphemisms in the resolutions of the national and international political actors. You know, the practical and the constant normative and practical marginalization of children born out of sexual violence and their forced mothers in post-conflict society are a significant obstacle to sustainable and inclusive peace, reconciliation, and transitional justice. Transitional justice processes that do not recognize nor enforce the rights of the children born out of sexual violence cannot meet their goals, which include truth, and I told you the truth, reconciliation, accountability, and delivery of reparation. Denying the rights of children born out of sexual violence cannot be compared to demand for human rights to universality. I'm ready to share my experience anywhere in the world. With my voice, I will break silence and show the world how these children live. You know what? I don't want to be the part of status quo that allowed us to go through and keep going through this kind of stigmatization and discrimination. I am a woman, a daughter, and a human rights activist, a young person who believes in equal society and fights for removing systematically imposed and socially created labels. I broke free. What is your choice?